Hey guys, today we're talking about adding and subtracting fractions with models. So here's your foldable, front and back. And what you're going to do is you are going to fold it in half, make a little bitty crease just like we've done before. Take the top part, make a little bitty crease just like you've done before. Take the bottom, pull it over to the very top one, make a full crease, bring this down so that it lines up with that, make another full crease, and that's your little foldable. All right, don't forget that you can rewind if you get troubled and if you need help. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about today is understanding fraction models. All right, so to understand fraction models, you have to understand that you always compare the same size shapes. If they're not the same size, you can't get a good reading of whether or not they're equal. All right, now the same shape divided different ways will always show an equivalent fraction. All right, so if you look at this one, what do we see? We see 1/2. Now here, it's the same picture, but we've broken it up differently. The number of total parts is 4, and how many of them are shaded? 2. Same thing here. How many total parts? 6, and yet there are 3 shaded. Here, 8 total parts with 4 of them shaded, and then here 12 total parts with 6 shaded. So this is the shaded up top, and then the total parts on the bottom. All right, now go ahead and open it up. So yesterday we were talking about adding and subtracting using the actual algorithm. So what does that actually look like when dealing with some sort of model? So the models can look like these, rectangles, or they can look like circles. They can look, those typically are the two main ones, but that doesn't mean that's the only thing that they could look at. So let's look and see what these would be. So here are our steps. First, we're going to shade the models. In our case, they're already given to us. If we need to shade them ourselves, then you just do what it says. So here it says 2/3, then I mark off 3, and I've got 2 of them shaded. And then the second one is 1/2. I marked off 2, and only 1 of them is shaded. You must remember, just like when we were doing decimals, that one of them goes up and down all the way, one of them goes side to side all the way. All right, now, so we've got 2/3 and 1/2. Now, here's a problem. I cannot add or subtract when they're the same, but when I have models, I can, because what I'm actually doing is I'm taking it and I'm bringing it together. So this is 2/3. I need to bring the other one in. So I am going to break this in half. I'm going to break it into halves. Now, on the second one, I've got that half. I need to also break it into thirds because they need to look exactly the same. All right, so I brought this one over and I brought this one over here. So now I've got 2 shapes that have 6 in them. So my common denominator is 6. Now, let's bring all of these shadings into one picture. So I have 4 here, so I'm going to shade in 4. Oh, 4. And then I'm going to bring this one over. Now I don't need to bring that down. We already know what that looks like. So I'm going to finish off this one. 1, 2. but I still have one more, so I'm going to bring it over here to 3. Bless me. Now, let's count and see how many parts I have. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So even though I came over, I'm still only looking at this first one to figure out what my denominator is. Now, we know that we can look at this and know that that is 1 whole and this is 1/6. We also know that I can change this into a mixed number and it will be 1 and 1/6 based on what we see here. But could I actually have come over here, did top in, bottom out, and got 1 with 1 left over, with that being my whole number, this being my numerator, and this being my denominator. All right, now I want you to try this one over here on your own. So pause it, look it over, try to see if you can do what we did here. If you need to rewind, look at it, but definitely pause and then come back and let's see how you did. All right, so let's look here. 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 6 minus 1/2. So this one's a little bit different because I am subtracting. So this one is already divided in half, so I don't need to, because look, so I brought that down here. We're good. Here is in a half, so I need to bring it over and divide it into 6 because I need the 6th. Let's color it in here. I need 5. And here I still need my 3. I need to be able to go 5 minus 3 because I need them to be the same. So when I come down here to shade, I need to take out 3 of them. 1, 2, 3, and that leaves me with 2, which means my answer is going to be 2. All right, now if we did that mathematically, we would have had 5/6 minus 3/6. Remember, my denominator stays the same. 5 minus 3 is 2. 2 and 6 have a common factor of 2, so I'm going to divide top and bottom by 2 because when I multiply and divide, what I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 6 divided by 2 is 3, meaning my final answer is 1/3. All right, good job, guys.